Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the attitude of, or the attitudes reflected in the South Asian media about the treatment in the West of illegal migrants, economic migrants, and alleged refugees from that sort of subcontinent and that Middle Eastern area adjacent to the subcontinent. So they're quite partisan there, and the people from around there are very racially nationalistic, not necessarily by boundaries of nations, but by race. They're very racialistic. But if white people are that, then of course they're all Hitler, aren't they? But so looking at this, there's been a bit of a flurry of coverage of the Ukrainian refugees are displacing or seem to be allegedly displacing the brown and black refugees from other parts of the world. So in Europe, or Western Europe in particular, the facilities that are offered for or provided for refugees are generally pretty good. Certainly far better than anything they would have been used to in their own countries. But according to the Asian media, these people, they may have come from dirt poor countries. They may never have seen running water or electric lights or refrigeration. They may never have seen any of these things, but that doesn't matter, because the Western white countries are rich. The reason they're rich is because they stole it all from the black and brown people anyway. So these people who are going to the West, they may come from dirt poor, basket case countries, but that doesn't matter. They are entitled to the very best of what the West has to offer. They are entitled to their private accommodation, private kitchens, private bathrooms. They are entitled to 24/7 good quality medical care. They are entitled to free stuff, more free stuff, and more free stuff again. Entitled to it. Not it would be nice if they could get, not entitled. So at some of these so-called refugee camps, the people have been there for 12 months, even though they've had repeated requests to move on and find alternatives, or move in with relatives, or go back to the country that they came from. So there's a lot of people that have left Afghanistan, as a case in point, just to freeload off the West. They go back to Afghanistan for holidays and vacations and so on. They're not in any danger. They're just freeloading off the. They've seen how rich the West is up front. They've seen how the Western military live, and the sort of rations they have, and all the facilities and all the material wealth of the West. They've seen that. And they go, holy shit, I want a piece of that. So they've gone to the West. So anyway, they've after months and not making any effort to go out and find alternative accommodation, then what in some of these European countries, Germany as an example, but others too, they're saying, well, we're going to move you out because the Ukrainian refugees have just arrived, and we're going to, they've got no relatives or anyone here that they know, so we're going to move them into this accommodation and move the brown and black people out. Now, according to the media, this is a fucking outrage. It's racism. The people are being moved out because they're black and brown, whereas the only reason the Ukrainians have been given this is because they're white. So it's Nazi, fascist, Hitler! And they're not concerned about, well, hey, hold on a minute. These people can go back to Afghanistan or somewhere, anywhere else if they want. They don't have to stay there, and they've got a whole shitload of free stuff. And by the way, what entitles them to the very best accommodation with free electricity and the air conditioning and the food and this? What entitles them to that? But somehow they are more entitled than the white people from Ukraine, it seems. And the people from Ukraine are white, so they're not really entitled to anything. But the brown and black people are, and that's how it should be, how it must be. And if anyone disagrees with that, or thinks that priority, sort of order of priority, isn't right, then they're Hitler. So this is the attitude that the Asian, certainly the ones I've looked at, the Asian media are taking, which is quite remarkable. And they're absolutely, I mean, it's outrageous. It's because the Ukrainians are white. That's why. It's because they're white. That's why they're doing it. And so they get, and these poor Afghanis. Just think about these poor Afghanis. They may have to go to lower standard accommodation. They may have to not have access to so much free stuff, and the children are being taken out of school. So they're suffering so much. They're being taken out of school. They don't know anyone in the neighbourhood. It's an outrage. It's Hitler. And it's insane. So wait a minute. Why are these people entitled to this? This sense of entitlement is mind-boggling, and you see it all over the place in certainly the subcontinent and adjacent media. They really push this hard, and they're trigger happy when it comes to declaring that there's some element of racism somewhere. There must be. So I was rather sort of surprised looking at the extent of this entitlement, but it sort of carries over into when these people come to the West, to England or anywhere in the West. That their attitude is gimme, freebie, freeload, and a sense of absolute outrage if they don't get it all exactly as they demand. Now, when you consider the hovels, the shit hovels that these people come from, you think they'd be grateful for anything they got, but no, they want the very best of what those countries have to offer, and they demand it and insist upon. If you don't give it to them, you're a fucking racist, Nazi, fascist, bigot, Hitler. You've been with Tassus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.